Hey YouTube, it's me Charles. Sorry I haven't made a video in so long. I tried doing this just a moment ago, but my computer's giving me upload issues, so I'm going to try it one more time. There seems to be this common myth that the German regular army, the Wehrmacht, is innocent of the atrocities and not liable for all those war crimes and that sort of thing on the Eastern Front in World War II. Everyone says it's the Waffen-SS, the Einsatzgruppen. As you can see here, this is just one comment on my most popular video, my Car 98K review part 1. And as you can see here, the German army was independently not associated with ideology. You can thank the Waffen-SS for that, blah, 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 blah. So, and this myth, I see it all over YouTube, and frankly, it's false. And here's just a book for one of my classes. It's called The World in Flames. It's for my World War II in Europe class. And there's an entry here called the criminal orders, and this is just the introduction. It basically says after 1945 a lot of German historians acknowledged that there were atrocities committed, and they attributed them to the SS. That way you could say it was Nazi ideology that did it. It wasn't the regular German army. The regular German army was not a big fan of the Nazis, and that's true. The German army at first saw the Nazi party as usurpers to establish German order, I guess you could say. But they went along with it, much the same. And so let's compare that comment for a second. You see that the German army, according to this myth, this notion, is not associated with Nazi ideology, and that they had nothing to do with those war crimes. So let's investigate. Alright, so like I said, that's the intro. This is the first document, dated May 13th, 1941, decree on the exercise of martial law in District Barbarossa and special measures of the troops. So as you can see, this is even before the invasion, alright, that was in June. Treatment of criminal offenses by enemy civilians. Till further notice, criminal offenses by enemy civilians are removed from the competence of military courts and court-martial. Alright, that should be pretty obvious. If you're an enemy civilian and you commit some sort of crime, you cannot go to the military courts or court-martial. Partisans, whether in battle or flight, are to be deposed ruthlessly by the troops. Now, the second point here is rooted in the historical premise that if you dress up as a civilian, you take hostile military action against a military force, you receive no quarter, and that's usually true. That's to this day even, I would say. 3. Here's where we get to the damning parts. Similarly, all other attacks against the military by enemy civilians, their members and followers, are to be suppressed immediately by extreme means. Alright? So let me start off by saying this first. Very rarely in history do you have orders coming from the top to the soldiers basically saying commit war crimes or act like a terrible human being, that sort of thing. You do see what you do see is instances of what I call hot-blooded revenge and cold-blooded revenge. Hot-blooded revenge is where you take fire from a house, one of your buddies gets killed, and in anger you kick down the door and you shoot everybody in the house. All right, that it's not good, but it's certainly less. It's not coming. They're not orders given from the top, whereas these you'll see are clearly given from the top. Where such measures are neglected or not possible initially, those suspected of criminal activity will be brought before an officer. He decides whether the suspect is to be shot. Upon the directive of an officer, villages from which the army is cunningly or maliciously attacked will have punitive measures carried out against them in the case in which a speedy identification of individual offenders cannot be discerned. Alright, so in case you can't figure things out on your own, punitive measures obviously means that you just torch and kill everybody in the whole village, town, city, whatever. Here's where we get to the most damning part. Treatment of offenses committed by members of the military and its retinue against the resident population. 1. For cruelties committed by members of the military and the retinue against enemy civilians, there is no threat of prosecution. The same holds true if the offense is simultaneously a military crime or offense. Alright? That means you can rape, kill, shoot, whoever, whatever, and there is no threat of prosecution. Alright? That right there, I think, is the most damning statement in this document. In the assessment of such acts, in each proceeding, it must be taken into consideration the collapse of 1918, the later period of suffering of the German nation, and that the battle against National Socialism, with the countless, sacrifices of blood, were crucial to the reduced Bolshevism influence, and that no German has forgotten this. So right here, we see German ideology, the so-called, stab in the back, that the German army was not defeated in World War I. It was stabbed in the back by actors acting behind the scenes. Okay, now we get to the second document. Military Order of General Feldmarschall von Reichenau, October 10th, 1941, regarding the behavior of troops in the eastern sector. And it's important to know that General Field Marshal von Reichenau was an ardent Nazi. He was an anti-Semite. He did that. He was in the Nazi Party, and he was in the regular German army as well. So, with that, out of the way, let's move on. So, concerning the behavior of troops vis-a-vis the Bolshevik system, Begin being in most cases the most essential goal of the campaign is against the Jewish Bolshevik system. All right, so the Nazis see that as one and the same. You have to remove their Asian influence upon European culture. Hereby, the task also arrives for soldiers exceed the customary routine of the troops. All right, so you're going beyond normal combat duties. In the Eastern Front, the territories, the soldier is not only a combatant according to the rule of war, but also a bearer of inexorable national ideology and the avenger of bestialities that have been inflicted upon the German racially related nation. Okay, so to say that the German regular army had no Nazi ideology, was completely separate, wasn't part of it, is completely false, as we can see here and here. So basically, this is basically him saying that you have to destroy enemy revolts that have always been caused by Jews, the struggle against the enemy behind our front, blah 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 blah. It's not entirely related. Okay, so in the future, the soldier has to fulfill two tasks: the complete annihilation of the false Bolshevik doctrine, the Soviet state and its army, the merciless eradication of foreign malice and cruelty, and thereby the protection of lives of the German military in Russia. Only in this way will we do justice to our historic task to liberate the German nation once and for all from the Asian Jewish danger. So we can see right here, granted General von Reichenau is an ardent Nazi, but he's telling his soldiers, these are orders coming from the top, that you are, with Nazi ideology backing you, you are free to commit these war crimes, these human offenses. So that's about it. I don't want to make this too long. Let me know if you enjoy this, if you find it interesting. I thought about, since I haven't made a video in forever, I thought about diversifying my content beyond just firearms, because my major is history, and part of a historian's job is to set the facts straight. So hope you're all well. Let me know if you're interested. If you like these, if you like this one, I might do more. And I'll see you guys later. Take care.